In the top stories, Honorable Vance Amory leads St. Kitts and Nevis' delegation to the 12th meeting of the Council of Defense Ministers of the Americas, business and professional women to host a women wellness campaign, and World Food Day week of activities underway. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Hey, what you doing? The time passing, next thing you know, it's a Christmas event and there's hustle and bustle and fretting. Every year can't be the same thing. At Courts, everything waiting. The best deals, the best prices. Christmas this year, give you niceness. Come to Courts, you're invited. Let's go! Down to Courts, you know we've got the best in show. To be satisfied, come on, let's go! Down to Courts, that's where it's going down. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Caleb Berridge. Honorable Vance Amory, Premier of Nevis and Senior Minister in the Federal Cabinet, led the St. Kitts and Nevis delegation to the 12th meeting of the Council of Defense Ministers of the Caribbean, 12th CDMA, which took place in Trinidad and Tobago from 10th to 12th October 2016. Premier Amory deputized for Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, who is the substantive Minister of National Security and therefore Defense Minister for St. Kitts and Nevis. The 12th CDMA was held under the theme Security and Defense of the Americas in a Changing International Environment, the Evolving Role of the Armed Forces. The general theme was discussed under 3 thematic axes, which were chosen to reflect the realities of the changing defense and security climate in this hemisphere. In his address to the delegates and observers at the 12th CDMA, Premier Amory presented a St. Kitts and Nevis perspective on the 3 thematic axes and outlined the role that the CDMA can play in improving peace and stability in member countries. The main output from the 12th CDMA is to be labeled the Declaration of Port of Spain, in which ministers and heads of delegations commit to full cooperation in the implementation of agreed recommendations, mechanisms for partnership and cooperation, and plans emerging primarily from the deliberations on the 3 thematic axes, as well as amendments to the CDMA regulations. The other members of the delegation were Mr. Osmond Petty, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, and Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Wallace, Commander of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force. The Business and Professional Women Club of St. Kitts, BPW, and the Ministry of Health have joined together to host a women wellness campaign that aims to offer health services at different locations across the island during the month of October. ZIZ spoke with the president of the Business and Professional Women's Club of St. Kitts, Dr. Christine Walwyn, who explained why the month of October to November is timely for the Women's Health Campaign.
As you know, October is breast cancer awareness, and basically the whole universe is focused on breast cancer in October. So we thought that it was an ideal opportunity to do it now, to continue on the trend that has already been started. And we are not only doing breast cancer, but we're also doing cervical cancer and making a big awareness for that at this time.
She also said that the women's campaign will be hosted in a number of locations across the island.
So we've decided this year to do 4 different Saturdays, starting at the Bastille Health Center, then going on to the Sandy Point Health Center, the Keon Health Center, and ended up in Newtown Health Center. We are in the process of including Nevis, but we couldn't do it right at this moment because all the logistics weren't in place. We want to see how it's going to go this time, and then maybe a couple of months after we will also join with Nevis.
Coordinator of the Community Nursing Services in the Ministry of Health, Nurse Eunice Brown, said the ministry is quite pleased to be a part of the Women's Wellness Campaign.
I would like to, on behalf of the ministry, to say we are very excited to be partnering with the business and professional women in this campaign. This campaign is not just about breast cancer or cervical cancer, but it's about women as a whole, women's wellness. So we're looking at screening women with their pap smears, having their breast examination done, and teaching women how to do their breast examination, and also screening for blood pressure and blood sugar.
She then encouraged all women to take advantage of the wellness testing scheduled at the different locations.
We're encouraging all women between the ages of 20 and above to come and have their pap smear test done, and we have stated that we are taking the time out to reach you on a day that is not during the working day. It's on a Saturday, and we encourage you to come to the different locations, and we are there and willing to support you and have your test done. It's quick, it's easy, and it's very fulfilling. A prevention, as the old people say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Testing at the Bastia Health Center is slated for Saturday, October 15th, while testing at the Sandy Point Health Center is slated for October 29th. The campaign then moves to the Keon Health Center on November 5th and ends at the Newtown Community Health Center on November 12th. The testing begins at 7 a.m. and ends at 12 noon. With focus on the theme, Climate is Changing, Food and Agriculture Must Too, the Department of Agriculture has been hosting a week of activities to commemorate World Food Day 2016. Agricultural Extension Officer Janaldo Gilbert spoke with ZIZ News about the importance of World Food Day.
The week of activities is an annual event. The 16th of October is World Food Day. It's a day put aside by FAO to commemorate food and the physical use of food and the physical aspects of food.
Thus far, a number of activities have taken place, including talks in secondary schools on climate-smart technology, pumpkin dessert competition between high schools, and radio programs. According to Crop Extension Officer Lionel Stevens, on Friday the week of activities continues at the Independence Square.
The week continues tomorrow at the square with the open day, exhibition, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of things going to be going on. So we're inviting everyone to come out, get your lunch, like eat local, amongst other things, your juices and your jams and so forth. So, World Food Day 2016, climate is changing, food and agriculture must too.
The World Food Day week of activities will run from October 10th to 18th. Upcoming activities include a small women and farmers meeting, an exhibition at the Sandy Point Market, a church service, and a GAP program training with various farmers. The week of activities wraps up on Tuesday with the annual prize-giving ceremony. After the break, the Postal Services donate to the Children's Home, and the Radical Praise Festival to host preliminary activities. We'll tell you more when we come back. As the Dental Health Week of activities continue, the St. Kitts and Nevis Dental Unit, along with the Rotary Club of La Amiga, hosted a dental health quiz at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank Auditorium on Wednesday. Here's more.
A number of doctors from across the island, teachers, students and parents were seen in attendance at the primary school dental quiz competition for grade 4 students. While addressing the audience, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. William Vincent Hodge, commended the St. Kitts Nevis Dental Unit for hosting the quiz.
The Ministry of Education is pleased that the Dental Association is doing this, or our dentists are doing this. And we want to thank you for bringing this type of activity to our students, our schools.
Also speaking at the event, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, said that the aim of the Ministry of Health is to improve the general health of the people of the Federation. The ministry therefore endorsed the event.
At the ministry, we explore all opportunities in so doing, and health education is one of the tools that we use. We like to empower our people, young and old, with relevant information that will help them make healthy choices as they go through the different stages of the life cycle.
A total of 15 primary schools participated in the dental health quiz competition. The reigning Flow Miss Caribbean Culture Queen 2016, Kyla Brown, was the competition's guest moderator. Students from the Morris Hillier Memorial Junior School placed second, while the Tucker Clark Primary School emerged as the Dental Health Quiz champions. The theme for Dental Health Week 2016 is Gums plus Care equals Smile. Everyone smiles in the same language. Reporting for ZIZ News, I am Shaira Flanders.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Postal Services, in collaboration with the Leaders of Tomorrow Foundation, made a significant donation to the St. Christopher Children's Home on Thursday. Postmaster General Dario Gill made the presentation to the Children's Home on behalf of the Postal Services.
As part of our activities celebrating World Post Day, we are making a very small but beneficial contribution to the St. Christopher's Children's Home for the children that resides here. I would also like to recognize the Leaders of Tomorrow Foundation based in Tabernacle, who procured the clothing we have here, the school supplies, and Natalie Gibson, who is the president of that organization.
Shanizwa James, administrative assistant at the St. Christopher Children's Home, thanked those representing the General Post Office for the contribution.
On behalf of the children and staff at the St. Christopher's Children's Home, we would like to say thank you to the Leaders of Tomorrow and the Post Office for their generous donation. Thank you so much.
The donation of clothes, shoes, school supplies and candy forms part of the Postal Service's week of activities to commemorate World Post Day. Citizens of St. Kitts and music lovers on a whole will have the opportunity to witness what some may call the concert of the year as Radical Praise presents the Radical Praise Fest. The event is scheduled to take place on October 22nd and is headlined by Blessed Messenger and Sherwin Gardner out of Trinidad. Chairperson of the Radical Praise Festival, Atinel Pemberton, told ZIZ that although the concert is still a week away, there are a number of pre-activities that will be taking place.
Tomorrow we'll be having a pre-event which will be held at Bank Street, and this event will be basically just a host of young people who will be just coming and doing their thing, musically displaying their talent. One of the highlights for that would be Omari Fleming. He'll be there with his band, and the other highlight is the drum off tomorrow, where we will have 2 drum sets on stage and a few drummers just going at it, displaying their talent, and showcasing what God has blessed them with.
Pemberton also made a call for music lovers to come out and appreciate music with a difference.
I just like to appeal to the general public to just come on out to Flow Grounds on the 22nd of October, which will be the mega concert. We have a host of wonderful local gospel artists who will be there, as well as our featured international artists will be coming from Trinidad. Blessed Messenger and Sherwin Gardner, and they are pretty hyped up and excited to come and minister to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The second annual Radical Praise Festival will take place on October 22nd at the Flow Grounds. Coming up, Hurricane Nicole moves away from Bermuda. The details when we come back. Hurricane Nicole, a dangerous Category 3 storm, passed over Bermuda on Thursday and moved out to sea, CNN meteorologists said. The storm hit Bermuda with plenty of wind and rain, but never officially made landfall, said CNN meteorologist Taylor Ward. Bermuda did not get into the eye, he explained, but when it involves an island, the center of the eye must go over the island. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, Nicole was about 90 miles northeast of Bermuda and moving away at 18 miles per hour in the northeasterly direction, the National Hurricane Center reported. It had winds of about 115 miles per hour. Nicole attained Category 4 status Wednesday night, but later weakened to a Category 3. The storm is not expected to threaten the United States. Coming up, U.S. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump continues attacks on Hillary Clinton's husband. The details when we return. Hello and welcome to Upfront. I'm Carla Berridge, and in the studios with me is Terry Morris, and he is representing District 6 for NEMA. Good evening and welcome to Upfront.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
All right, so you're here in regards to the International Day for Disaster Reduction. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with NEMA.
Well, actually my involvement with NEMA began way back in the late 80s, early 90s. As part of my assisting with disaster risk reduction activities in my community, that based on me being a community leader, I was called upon to assist with hurricane relief, with assisting persons, with doing assessments. And from there, my involvement became formal, and I'm here. So, having been involved in the local level in St. Paul's and becoming involved in various activities on the national level, I then became even further involved because apart from volunteering for NEMA in St. Kitts and Nevis, I also serve as a certified regional instructor for USAID, Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance. This means then that I would train persons across the region, to Bahamas, in Belize, in various countries in between, in the areas of shelter management, in the area of disaster risk reduction, disaster damage analysis and needs damage assessment and needs analysis, and other areas. I also train persons to become instructors across the region as well. So I'm grateful that because of my getting involved at the local level in my community, I am now, very much involved from since 2005 actually. I'm a certified regional trainer, so I travel the region and train persons in various aspects of disaster management.
Okay, so being so involved, would you encourage other persons to get involved? And if they would like to get involved, how can that be possible?
Of course, I would always encourage persons to become involved as volunteers in any other way with regards to NEMA and the whole idea of disaster management. This is because it can be a fulfilling experience. Disaster risk reduction in the first place helps you to assist with the coordinating of various activities to minimize the impact. And also it gives you a sense of fulfillment because you're able to contribute to national development. You're able also to contribute to bettering the lives of persons. And so as a volunteer, you are able to provide your skills and your service to your fellow men.
Okay.
If persons want to become involved, they can just simply make contact with any member of their district committees. Each of the districts have committees that are set up to run the various districts, or they can make contact with NEMA, an official at NEMA, so that they can be so guided. At this point, there are even forms that they can complete to really indicate their interest in becoming a volunteer. This will document the skills that they have, this will document the experiences that they have, and also it's going to document what areas of training and empowerment that they are interested in as a volunteer.
Okay. Now, why is the work that NEMA does, why is it so important?
It is important because it is a critical element of national development. It's also important because when you think of disaster, you are thinking more destruction. When you would have done all that you could to really build infrastructure, when you would have done all that you could to really build, your communities, and then a disaster strikes. So the work that NEMA does really covers from mitigation, seeking to minimize the risk, helping persons to, through advice and through guidance, to be able to plan ahead and also be able to put those structures in place that can not prevent a disaster but minimize the impact in the event that a disaster would occur. Okay. And so you find that NEMA also is part of the whole response if a disaster strikes. That's the entity, that's the agency that would respond. That's the agency that would liaise with the agencies across the region, international agencies that can provide assistance, agencies that can provide, whether it's technical or financial assistance or in other form. So NEMA really is the hub that not just deal with disaster reduction, but also deals with the management of anything that has to do with disasters.
Right. I want to thank you so much for coming and speaking with us here on Upfront this evening.
Thank you.
All right. This has been Upfront. I'm Carla Berridge, and I have been speaking with Terry Morris. Stay tuned. More news after this.
Can you afford to lose everything? In times of uncertainty, ensure you have the security of Quartz Payment Protection. When you shop with Quartz Ready Finance Gold or Ultimate Plan, if you lose your job after 6 months of making payments, our redundancy coverage ensures that the payment on your account continues for up to 12 months. Don't risk losing everything. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get the payment protection plan that protects you against redundancy, disability, death, and loss of item due to natural disaster, fire, flood, or theft. Quartz Ready Finance with payment protection. Quartz, bringing value home.
U.S. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has continued his attacks on Hillary Clinton's husband, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, accusing him of sexual assault and rape. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports from Ambridge, Pennsylvania.
The debate performance, the reaction of his supporters, seems to have energized Donald Trump.
Good? We did all good? We did good.
Hundreds turned out in a school gymnasium in Pennsylvania, hundreds more locked outside. He ran through his usual talking points on immigration and trade, each bringing cheers and applause. But then a new line of attack on Hillary Clinton, first previewed in Sunday's debate.
Bill Clinton was the worst abuser of women ever to sit in the Oval Office. He was a predator. Hillary Clinton systematically attacked and discredited the victims of Bill Clinton's sexual harassment and assault.
And when you're a star, they let you do it.
Donald Trump saw a huge chunk of his support disappear after a tape emerged on Friday of him making obscene and vulgar remarks about women.
Anyone who knows me knows these words don't reflect who I am.
He apologized, but he's obviously decided it's a topic he can use to inflict damage on Hillary Clinton.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things. There are so many of them, folks.
There are many in the Republican Party who warned Donald Trump that attacking Hillary Clinton by attacking Bill Clinton was the political equivalent of going nuclear, and warned him not to do it. With his remarks here, he's shown that that's how it's going to be for the final 4 weeks of this campaign. Those in the crowd had no problem with Hillary Clinton being targeted.
She wants to help children, but she allows late-term abortions? What's that all about?
And Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they're worse than him. I mean, they actually did this stuff.
Even before he took the stage in Pennsylvania, another blow to his faltering campaign.
Hey, everybody!
The highest elected Republican in the U.S., House of Representatives Speaker Paul Ryan, revealed he would no longer campaign with his party's presidential nominee or defend his words and actions. But despite all his troubles, Donald Trump still believes the election can be won. And so do the supporters he has left.
Thank you, everybody.
Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Ambridge, Pennsylvania.
Up next in sports, FIFA official pays courtesy call on Minister Brandy Williams. Stay tuned. FIFA Development Officer for the region, Mr. Howard McIntosh, paid a courtesy call on the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, Minister of Youth and Sports in the Nevis Island administration. In the first meeting, Mr. McIntosh spoke briefly with Minister Brandy Williams and Assistant Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Ms. D. Michelle Liebert, about the development of football on the island. Later, Mr. McIntosh met with a wide cross-section of the football fraternity of the island to discuss the development of football and plans going forward. Honorable Brandy Williams encouraged frank and open discussions which would involve programs and infrastructural development which FIFA may be able to assist with through the Football Association. She also pledged her government's continued commitment to the development of the game on the island and vowed to assist as far as possible with the limited resources at her disposal. Mr. McIntosh indicated that FIFA wants to focus on partnerships and promised that he will take back the concerns and proposals to the appropriate bodies for action in the future. China's ambitions to become a global soccer power are facing a stark reality check after the national team's coach stepped down after defeats, leaving a World Cup qualification bid in tatters. As Graham McKay reports, massive investment in Chinese football may have set the bar too high. Here's more.
After a summer of huge hype, China's football fantasy is falling through the floor. Fans waking up on Wednesday to a national team without a manager, after Gao Hongbo stepped down following a 2-0 defeat to Uzbekistan just days after losing to war-torn Syria. China's odds of qualifying for the next World Cup are now in tatters, a gut punch to President Xi Jinping, who wants his country to one day host and win the tournament. China has thrown billions of dollars into football, investing in everything from major European clubs and players to youth development and broadcasting.
All that has trickled back down in some ways in terms of perception to the national team. Fans, global experts, people watching the game are sort of expecting that China's own team will pull up its socks and start becoming world beaters. The main hurdle for the national team here is really that soccer is not a mainstay of growing up for young kids here. So despite a massive investment in these soccer academies, these soccer schools, we're not likely to see any real fruition from that, for decades perhaps.
Many Chinese fans had all but given up on their team on Wednesday. One post on social media saying, now that the coach is gone, why don't we just disband the whole team and stop wasting taxpayers' money? Even state media called Chinese football a fake bubble fueled by crazy capital and imported talent. Things aren't going well abroad either. Clubs like Inter Milan and Aston Villa are struggling despite big promises from their new Chinese owners, while others have been hit by questions over financing. On top of all that, China's richest man, who owns Spain's Atletico Madrid, poured cold water on football investments in August, saying it's too tough to actually make any money.
When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. Recapping the top stories, Honorable Vance Amory leads St. Kitts and Nevis' delegation to the 12th meeting of the Council of Defense Ministers of the Americas. Business and professional women to host a women wellness campaign, and World Food Day week of activities underway. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage. Goodbye.